This is a major chord which is considered to sound happy. Somehow a combination of sound waves is able to make us feel happiness, sadness, and emotions. There's only one reason, and that reason is because there's a 90% chance that you're probably a human being. The thing about humans is that we are insanely basic, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons or stages of how we're basic through music. This is a major scale, and each note has an associated number. For example, that was the C major scale. This is the 1, which is C, then the 2, which is D, then the 3, which is E, and so on to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we get back to the beginning to get to 1. To make a chord, we're going to take the 1, the 3, and the 5, and we get what's called a triad. Again, it's the 1, 3, 5. This triad is a major chord and is considered happy, and the only reason why it's happy is simply because of the 3, or the third note. If we take it out, we get the 1 and the 5. Which represents mediocrity at its finest. Just imagine a sports game at the score ending at 0-0. You feel nothing but unsatisfied. But add this magical 3, or this sound wave, and somehow you get this happiness from it. And the only reason is because of your brain. You cannot find someone who is going to say that a major chord is not happy, because their brain is scientifically programmed to associate happiness with this chord, and that's just that. And if we take this major third and lower it a half step down, we get a minor chord. A chord associated with sadness, all because of our brains telling us how to feel. Another example of how all humans are the same is dissonance. If I play this, and remember, since we have a brain, we're going to get uncomfortable. That sounds pretty great, doesn't it? I was being sarcastic. Heck, even my dogs know what dissonance is. A major chord has a 1-3-5 and a minor chord has a 1-flat-3-5. By playing a major chord and playing a minor after, we can tell a story and we can get more fancy with our emotions that our brain interprets. The most universal and basic chord progression is the 1, the 5, the 6, and the 4. How this works is through the C major scale. So if I'm playing the 5 chord in the key of C, I'm basically playing a triad but starting on the 5th note. In this case it would be G, B, and D, which is the 5, 7, and 2. By combining these types of chords, 1, 5, 6, 4, you can maybe start to hear literally every single pop song ever conceived. Personally, I interpret this chord progression as a modified version of the hero's journey archetype. The 1, I'm at home, which means I'm bored and I want something. The 5, I left the house, I'm getting the thing I want. The 6, I had the thing, but now I'm sad. And finally, the 4, I'm going back home, becoming a better person. And yeah, music just told a story in 4 measures, and then the chord progression will repeat again as the song continues. This chord progression happens to be used in one of the most popular sitcom intros of all time, and here it is. Well, although The Office follows a 1-3-6-4 chord progression, the progression that we've been using, the 1-5-6-4, works well with The Office theme, and it demonstrates its versatility in every pop song. Here's a few more examples. And since we're talking about sitcoms, we might as well just mention them more. Now here's a melody that I used to play way too much in 8th grade percussion. It's Minecraft, yet it gets really repetitive, so if I play a 1-5-6-4 chord progression along with the Minecraft melody, we basically created a pop song. Also, you may have noticed that it sounds more sadder than the Office theme, and the only reason is because I'm playing at a slower tempo and because there's no bass part. Because remember, we're basic pieces of garbage. So now I'm going to add a bass line and add a few more chords to make it more interesting.
created a multi-million-dollar pop song, and all we need is some really good vocals, which I clearly have.
It's gonna take a lot to escape from you. There's so many different expressions of music. It's grouped into genres such as jazz, rock, Latin, and slow, but each is rather a different expression or feeling being portrayed to you. Because remember, music is just a bunch of sound waves that are programmed to manipulate your brain. The example that we'll look at is cliché sad piano music. Sad piano music is very effective, usually consisting of long and high notes that are sustained for long portions. My favorite example is Christmas Time Is Here from A Charlie Brown Christmas. A sad song, and personally I think of a window where there's a party and I'm outside, alone, in the cold, bitter winter. This song represents what composers and filmmakers use to manipulate our brains into sadness, and now whenever there's a sad scene in a movie, there's a guarantee that you'll hear sad piano music, or at least hear music with violins with slow and graceful chords. Sad piano music at this point seems ironic, to portray comedy because it seems so overused that you can't help but laugh at it, and it says something about us where our only way to show sadness is through long and graceful notes. It shows that we're all the same and that we're all basic, and even though you'll have a different interpretation of this song, it will always have minor chords, which will always be sad till the end of time. Until now, when I'm going to revolutionize the cinema and music industry. You know that scene from Up where the sad piano music plays? What if I play an elaborate drum solo instead to portray sadness?